Yo, what's up, party people? It's your boy Trader Main back with the order book. It's Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Lot going on the timeline. Lebron is leaving the Lakers. My GOAT, LeBron, leaving the Lakers. Giannis going to Miami. Creator coins are back. The Black Bull. TJR, Luke Belmar, Creator Coin Meta is back, and most importantly, we have a monthly and quarterly close today. That's right, guys. Q3 of 2026 starts tomorrow. Now, if you're like me, you might have closed your eyes on New Year's and you've just opened them, and we're already halfway through 2026. So what does this mean? This means that you are likely way behind on all of your goals. All the things you said you were going to do this year. New year, new me. Going to go to the gym. Going to get a girlfriend. Going to lose some weight. Well, you got 6 months left to figure it the fuck out. Because Q3 starts tomorrow. We're already halfway through 2026. I don't know, man. Time is like on hyperspeed these days. I genuinely believe it. Like, I close my eyes, I open them, months have gone by. It's fucking crazy. But, you know, here we are. Here we are. So, lots to discuss. We're going to spend a lot of time on the charts because this, to me, is a pretty big close. Pretty big close. So, we're going to talk about that. And obviously, if you guys have anything, you know, that you want to discuss, we can discuss that as well. As always, we got my boy Cody in the chat. So if you have some chart requests, they don't have to be chart requests either, guys. If you have questions about concepts, stuff we've talked about in the whiteboard series, anything at all, you want some Unk advice, I'm Unk. I'm going to be 46 soon. More than happy to answer any questions you have, but lots of stuff to discuss, and we're going to start with the charts. So let's get over to Kraken Pro, and let's take a look at Bitcoin here. So I've deleted all the levels except for one, which is monthly structure here. Okay, so a lot of people have been calling for bottom this entire way down, right? And I think we've been one of the few streams, right? I've been one of the few people posting consistently that nothing that is going on here or here resembles a bottom whatsoever. So from a timing perspective, you guys know I think Q4 of this year, right? But there's more than just the time element. There's the price itself. And we have had enough history on the Bitcoin chart to know what Bitcoin charts look like when they're bottoming. The bottoms are these kind of long consolidation periods, and then you get a clear shift in direction. They're never these bull flags. This has never been a bottoming pattern on Bitcoin, yet people on the timeline have been telling you that, yeah, this time it's bottomed, you know, this time's different, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's coming back to crypto. And I just simply disagree. I don't think this has looked like a bottom. And from a purely structure perspective, something that we discussed back here when we got the monthly close in February, I just looked back at the last cycle. I said, well, what happened last time we broke monthly structure? Last time we broke monthly structure was in June of 2022. And from that low, where June closed, to the ultimate bottom, still had another 20 to 30% of downside. So when we close structure through here, from this low to what might be the bottom, another 20 to 30% of downside puts us right at that 4950K level, which puts us right below this wick, and which puts us right above that yearly order block and this kind of area and price that I've talked about, you know, kind of liking as a potential zone for Bitcoin. We have that nice wick there. And then if you had the yearly chart here, which we do right here, right? That puts you right at the yearly order block right there. So if you go down to the monthly now, that gives you right at the yearly order block in that wick. That would line us up very nicely if we were to replicate what we did when we broke monthly structure here. Now, we broke monthly structure again. Unless the bulls step in and pump this thing to 60,500 within the next hour and 45 minutes, which is, I think, unlikely, we're going to have another monthly bearish structure break. So just from a basic market structure perspective, and do you want to learn about market structure? How about you learn how to trade market structure like a pro and watch my whiteboard video on it? But from a very basic monthly structure perspective, right? This is your low. This is your high. This is your low. That's your high. Here's another high. That's a structure break. We now have a low. And now if we close through this low here, this is a confirmed lower high. So now we're going to have to get above 82K to have bullish monthly structure. If you go and look at the prior bear market, well, guess what happened down here? We broke monthly structure, right? There's your monthly high. There's your monthly low. Once we got above here, 25K, monthly structure was bullish again. So as much as I'm being a doomer here and I'm saying this chart looks like shit, I do believe we're closer to a bottom, and I've said this 1,000 times now, from both a price and time perspective. But you still have to wait for structure to tell you, right? And there's been zero sign. I think it's irresponsible for people. I mean, irresponsible is the wrong word because people online don't owe you anything. But there are people online who speak authoritatively about crypto, and they're telling you the bottom's in constantly, and they're constantly wrong. Now, do I think that sub 60K is good value? Yes, I do. Right? Refer back to this chart. I think we are in the good value area. I mean, we're basically tagging the 0.62. Not quite yet, but we're just about there. Just about at the 0.62. And I think all the way down here, this is all value. But like I said in the last video, you don't want to bust your load immediately at 58K. You're going to want to scale in. This is going to take time. And you're going to want to wait for confirmation. And what will that confirmation look like? It'll look like this, right? We're in a downtrend. We're in a bear market. Once we flip this, that's bullish again. Structure was bullish again on the weekly chart. So if we come down here, right, and then do this, any spot that you haven't got in already, that weekly structure break there, that's your cue to get the rest in. Just like when we lost the gay line and lost weekly structure here, that was your cue to get the fuck out. So I think this monthly candle close is bearish. Could we get some relief in July? Sure. This could be very similar to back here where we broke structure again, right? And then we have a little bit of a relief month in July. Maybe July has a little bit of a pump in it. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next monthly candle. But once we had this failure here, right, to close above March's high, I don't know why this keeps reverting to teal. This became the target, right? And so similar thing will happen here. Once we get this new candle in place, we're going to see, and if we trade below June's low early in the month and then reclaim June's low, that might be a sign that we might get some relief in July, but it's too early to tell. We got to see how, you know, the first few days, maybe week or two of July trades. We don't need to rush into it, right? This is the monthly chart we're talking about here. It's going to take time to play out. So ultimately, no signs of a bottom yet. Bitcoin's also trading below its 200 SMA, which is something that doesn't happen very often. I think that's the one. Yeah, we're trading right at it, right? So, I mean, this has generally been pretty consistent with like major areas where price bottoms. Let's see, this has more history on it. This is not something I use, but I know a lot of people are looking at this. Right? So if you look back in history here, the amount of times where Bitcoin is traded below this level, right? Generally, the bottom has been close. Right? Doesn't mean the bottom's in, right? We traded below here and we traded another like 30% to the downside. So I'm not saying, oh, we're below the 2 SMA, it's time to buy. But every time we've come close to this level, it generally has been a good buying opportunity over the last 8 or so years, right? And obviously this went back in time before. It's only looking back 200 periods. So we're at that area now. We're at that area now, which I think is interesting and something to watch, but I'm still waiting for signs, right? I want to see some signs, some clues, some evidence that the bulls are stepping in outside of people on Twitter just telling us that, yo, the bottom's in this time, it's time to ape. Not only are we likely about to break structure on the monthly here, but we're also broken structure on the weekly. So our weekly range, right, which was arguably this price leg, well, we've now closed below that. So that SFP has been invalidated, and we now have made a new weekly low below these wicks. So, like, at best, you know, I think like that to me, best case scenario is some kind of relief bounce before lower. But I think that we are probably, just like we topped very similar to last time, I think we are likely going to bottom similar to last time, and that bottom is going to come in the form of a range. If you refer back to the AMD video of my market structure series, or you go back to the liquidity video of the market structure series, I talk about it in both of these videos. This idea, right, of how price moves. If we are going to go on another bull run, there needs to be a period of accumulation that occurs first. Right? There has to be. Price is not being accumulated in this. Price is going to get accumulated in price action like this. So I would not be surprised at all if we see a very similar bit of price action form down here. And that constitutes the bottom. I think scaling in these value areas, 38 to 48, is where I would look to get in quite heavy. Maybe nibble a little bit in the mid to high 50s. And if we get below 38, if you have any dry powder left at that point, you buy and pray. That's what I'm doing at least. And then you unload the remainder of your clip the moment we get a weekly structure break. That's when you go all in with the stuff. Maybe you were holding some for 10K that never got filled. That's when you buy the rest of it on the weekly structure break. So I've gone over this plan a bunch of times. Nothing's changed. Just, you know, again, just a week ago, right? I think it was a week ago. Yeah, last Thursday when I was doing this stream, everyone was telling me on the timeline, and I talked about this in the stream, oh my God, everyone is too bearish. We're not going to 48K. Everyone is too bearish, right? No one's going to get what they want. Everybody is bearish. And I told you, once we get lower, people's tune are going to change very quickly. People's tune changes like this. And the thing is, most people, it's impossible to actually gauge sentiment based on what you see on Twitter, because according to the timeline right now, the bull run is back. It's starting on Solana, and Ansem saved the trenches. Maybe that's true, but those same people a week ago were saying Bitcoin looks like shit. And it's like, well, how can two of these things be true at the same time? Bitcoin looks like shit, but Sol has bottomed and the trenches are back and creator coins are back, right? Maybe Ansem is going to save the bull run. Maybe Solana has bottomed already. I don't know, right? But what I can tell you is that sentiment can change very quickly. And most of the people that you guys are gauging sentiment off of are the same people begging Ansem in his comments for an airdrop, right? Like, they have no money, right? They're not actually trading. So what the random plebes on Twitter are saying is almost certainly irrelevant, because these people aren't trading anyways. The vast majority of people you interact with on Twitter have no money and don't trade. So their opinions on the market are meaningless. Can you get a little bit of sentiment analysis from what the herd is saying? Sure, right? But the herd is also begging for money in the comment section right now. And then last week was telling you that, oh, it's not going to 40K. It's going way lower. Like, it's just useless. Use the chart, make your own analysis, okay? And so that's what I've shared with you here. This is my chart-based analysis, how I plan on executing with clear levels, invalidations, right? A time frame. I've given you levels I want to buy at in this OTE value area. This is where I'm looking to accumulate spot Bitcoin. I've also given you a time frame of Q4 of this year as when I'm looking for these levels to start getting fulfilled and for the bottom to start to form. I cannot be any more clear and transparent than that. I'm holding your hand. I'm going to guide you to the fucking river, but it's up to you whether or not you're going to drink from it. Okay? And whether or not I'm right, I have no idea. At the end of the day, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to make some fucking promises that you're going to get rich, that I'm going to save you and help you. This is what I've done over the last decade in crypto, and it's worked really well for me, right? Not a lot of people last 10 years in crypto. There's a reason why. I'm still here, and I've continued to grow and do things. This is exactly how I've operated. This is exactly how I bought the bear market lows last cycle publicly. On Twitter, YouTube, Telegram, it's all there. It's exactly what I'm explaining to you now is exactly what happened last time. And so if it happens again, I'm going to be very happy because I'm going to make money, and hopefully some of you make money too. If this time's completely different, then it's going to be new for both of us, okay? So hopefully that's super clear and straightforward. I have no interest in being any trades right now. I think if you took the Solana trade, I think at this point you either de-risk or you just close it because Bitcoin made new lows. And I don't really like being in trades going into quarterly, monthly closes, monthly open, quarterly open, general start of the month fuckery. It's also going to be holidays. It's Canada Day tomorrow. Shout out Canada, one of the best. Top 16 teams in all of soccer, by the way. And July 4th is coming up. So I'm chilling. So if you took this Solana trade that we discussed last stream, you're in profit, right? This is already up. It was up almost 1.5 R, 1.2 R. It's up about 1 R right now. You could peel some off. I think you could drag your stop up to probably here or even to break even and then just see what happens. But I would not leave my stop down here anymore because if Bitcoin pukes, this thing's going to roll over and you're going to get stopped out. So that would be what I would do here on Sol. The setup is still valid, right? The trade is in profit, but taking some off the table or de-risking based on Bitcoin looking weak, I don't think is a horrible idea. But that's totally up to you what you want to do with this. This was just a freebie that we caught on stream. So GG's if you took this and made a couple of shekels between last Thursday and this Thursday. I'd be very curious if we went through all these streams and talked about all the different setups I shared and, how many of them have worked, haven't worked. Like if you look at equities, right? We talked about this on Thursday. High or low here, right? Bang. Same thing here. We talked about this on Thursday. High or low. Bang. Right? We talked about the Russell. High or low. We talked about the Dow continuing this steep ascent. So whether or not these continue to go or not, but a lot of what we've been tracking has been coming to fruition. But Bitcoin just looks kind of meh. Like I could totally see us take out the low here and then put in a bounce. And maybe Sol survives that because our entry is fucking, $67. But, it's kind of up to you what you want to do. I'm not going to be on the screens tomorrow. Yeah, totally up to you guys. But yeah, plan for Bitcoin, pretty straightforward. Short term on Bitcoin. If we take the lows and get a reaction, that's the only setup that I see right now, right? So you have a clear low here. So if we get a sweep here and then reclaim, that is like the only type of setup I see right now. Otherwise, nothing. Just chill. Just wait. Okay? Any questions about Bitcoin itself, guys? Any questions about Bitcoin itself? What's up, Tempest over on Kick? What's up, Jordan? Based Ment says, I'm about to bust. You and me both, brother. What's up, JP, Dog Boy, Love Stonks, Crypto Kid? Yeah, Kawhi back in Toronto. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, Kawhi had a good season last season, for sure. I just wish he would have stayed in Toronto after they won, given us a chance to compete, go back to back, you know? Life is like a roll of toilet paper. The farther you get in, the faster it goes. That's a banger. Who said that? Was that Gandhi? Was that Gandhi who said that? Bro, how confident are you in Bitcoin for the next cycle? I have been in a few cycles, but I'm not as confident in BTC anymore. I am confident that Bitcoin will see new all-time highs. I'm so confident that I'm risking my own money in an attempt to ride Bitcoin for another cycle to new all-time highs. So I'm confident, that I think Bitcoin will see new highs for sure. Do I think it's going to 500K this next cycle? No. I think what we're seeing in Bitcoin is two things over the last handful of cycles, right? And those two things are that we're seeing diminishing returns on the bull markets and diminishing drawdowns on the bear market. So if you look at this bear market low to the bull market high, right? That was a 9,000% move. And then that bull market high to the bear market low was an 85% pullback. The next bear market low to bull market high, right, was 2,000%. The next all-time high to bear market low was only 70% drawdown. So this number is getting smaller. This number is getting smaller. And this bear market and bull market, in my opinion, no different. From the low to the high was 700%. I wouldn't be surprised if from the high to the low, maybe it's only 70%. 70% would put us at 38,000, which is the 79% fib. Maybe it's 75%, but I do think we're seeing these diminishing peaks and troughs. So where does that leave us for the next bull run? I don't know. Maybe Bitcoin goes from here and it caps out at 180. You know what I mean? Still a very nice run, but diminishing returns continue. And I think we'll continue to see this trend as Bitcoin just inevitably is becoming more institutionalized. There's more big players involved. And just by the fact that the asset itself is getting more expensive. The higher Bitcoin goes, the more expensive it is, the more money is required for it to go up, right? Bot, yeah, we'll add that to the list. The Raptors got Kawhi. Listen, I'm not complaining. I'm happy the Raptors got Kawhi. Kawhi and Scotty, not bad, right? I saw a guy saying that SGA gets free agency in 2-3 years. Maybe once Kawhi retires, SGA comes in. Scotty Barnes is like 27, 28 in his prime. Who knows? What's your advice on taking more trades, trading lower time frames intraday, as opposed to mostly trading intra-week and higher? What I will say is this. All of the people I know who are extremely rich and got there from trading were not day trading. I'm not saying they didn't have a day trading period or took no day trades at all, but the vast majority of people that I know that got rich from trading did so by trading higher time frame, swing trades, capturing larger moves with larger size. I had a day trading period. I don't really do it anymore. I think it's great early on because you get more reps, right? If you're trading the lower time frames, you're going to see more setups. You're going to see more setups. You're going to be able to take more reps, more attempts at the market. But larger conviction bets, swing trades, I think is how the vast majority of wealth in trading is made. So I don't know if that answers your question, but a little bit of both. I think trading low time frame can help you get going, And it can absolutely be a way for you to start to build up that bankroll. But the richest people who are trading, look at Tradfi. You know, these guys are not day trading. They're taking large conviction bets. Look at Flood's hyperliquid trade. This is a multi-year conviction trade, right? Friggin' Nextradamus with the predictions. What can I say, bro? France 2-0. Is that game on yet? Is that game started? France 3-0 now. Well, you guys know that I bet on France. I bet on France to win it all. So we're up on that Polymarket bet. I still can't believe Canada won, dude. So crazy. I use the H4 M15 and the H12 H1 setups, but sometimes the structure levels are too far on the lower time frame. However, price forms a low time frame range. How do we trade this kind of setup? If the range is too far, you have two options. You either do nothing and you wait until you have a range that's tradable, or you change up the time frames. Maybe you use the H6, or maybe you use a lower time frame where you get a workable range. But what you don't want to do is change your entire strategy because the chart you want to trade isn't giving you a setup. Part of your strategy and your edge in your system is to know when not to take a trade. If you're saying, hey, I can't trade this range, it's too wide according to my system, that's your system telling you that there's no trade here right now, right? But if you're really keen and you're like, hey, this is just a weird instance where the swing high is so far away, try going down to the H6 instead of the H12, right? Or go up to the 3-day chart. Maybe that has a better range, or go down to the H4. Like, you can meddle around with it a little bit, but part of your system is going to be your system telling you when there's no trades. What's the Raptors? What are the France? I'm eating rolled tacos. This guy's on fire today. Check the 6-month chart. Show me potato salad. There's the 6-month chart. I mean, this doesn't mean anything to me. So I think a chart that you're seeing a lot on Twitter right now is this, right? Hey guys, every time Bitcoin goes up for 3 years, down for 1 year, and then it goes up for 3 years, and then it goes down for 1 year, and then it goes up. Oh, but this time it's only 2 years. Now it's only down. This time it's down this year. Like this, depending on the time frame you're looking at or when the year end is, it could be arbitrary. I just think it's pointless and meaningless. I don't think the only thing I think that matters on the yearly chart is this. And I know that that's a huge fuck off box. I'm not saying it's going to trade at all deep into this box, but just like this was the bottom last time, we just tagged it. I would not be surprised at all if the bottom just tags here. But yeah, there's not much for me to make out on the yearly and the 6-month. This is a relatively new asset class. You don't need to go super, super high time frame at any point other than to just know roughly where those key yearly levels are. Hi, Maine. You're looking extremely cute today. Thank you. We would all be rich if you told us that the gay line was below 90K this cycle. No one wants to be gay, so we insta-sell on the first close below 90. Now, I will say, I did tell you guys if we lose this trend line to get the fuck out. I did say that. Now, maybe I should have threatened you with homosexuality, and that would have gotten you, to take it more seriously. But go check the tape. Check the tape. I said exactly that. This bit good König. I probably should have not just said that. I have no idea what I just said. Did you just make me say a slur in your language, bro? Thanks, Daryl. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, we can look at DXY. So as you guys know, I'm bullish on DXY, and I think this is going to be confluent with equities pulling back and with crypto still not being done. We've had a big move up after taking out last year's low. Now I'm looking at this. If we get some sort of retest here, I think that's the next critical move for for the dollar is if it can hold a retest. If we do one of these and we get back below this range and hold down here, then I think the dollar's not bottomed yet. But for now, it's looking like a range reclaim. I'm going to assume it is until it isn't. So if we get any sort of retest here, right, like into here maybe. Why is this box? Why would I ever want a orange box? When have I ever used that? If we get some sort of retest here, you want to see that hold. Ansem says he's bringing back the bull market. I hope that he does. I hope that he does. Still bullish on XPL. I like the chart. Like, I like the chart. Is this over here? Like, I liked the chart. Right? But it's not giving us the setup. I think I had it out here. Yeah, here we go. Wowza. Bro, it's just all red candles. Like, so this is kind of the setup I was talking about on XPL. Right? And it has to hold this thing. So, like, that's the setup. But, like, my bullishness on altcoins immediately goes to zero if Bitcoin is weak. Like, if Bitcoin cannot maintain its the lows, everything's going to nuke. So, like, this is kind of, in theory, the XPL setup. Maybe it goes lower, but your invalidation is below there. So that's kind of the setup. But I'm not in this coin. I don't know what plasma fucking does, to be quite frank. I just saw the chart and I said, okay, potential weekly breaker here after a monthly SFP. It's a setup that I like, but no, there's no trigger here yet. Unless you're willing to take this trade, which I'm not willing to do because your stop loss here is 30% away from your entry, which is super fucking wide. So I personally am not interested in a trade like this. What I would be looking for is within this weekly demand, which is this big gray box, is I'd be looking for a long to form. So either a sweep of this or a retest of this. And that's where I would probably look to get in if I were going to. I'm sipping on water, bro. Do I think Michael Saylor is gay? Dude has never had a girlfriend. Do I think he's gay? I know. I think it's much more likely that he's just like extremely fucking autistic and probably insufferable. I like imagine dating a guy like Michael Saylor. First of all, imagine dating a guy that's fucking gay. But I mean, just the way he talks about Bitcoin and his general mannerisms, like, it seems pretty cringe. You know, rich guy in Miami. Maybe it's never interested him. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think he disappoints enough people. Like, strategy is now pivoting to effectively become a fund, like a hedge fund, and they're like, hey, we're gonna strategically buy and sell Bitcoin. It's like, dude, you're negative 14 billion. Like, come on, what are we talking about, bro? Ricky T Spanish. Yo, thanks for the Kraken CLI contest shit last month. I won first place. May do a giveaway on Twitter when Kraken blesses me. It pays to watch your stream. Dude, let's fucking go. What did you build? That's so cool, dude. Good job. Note that down for sure. Cody. Abid Shaheek says, on your recent video on time frame alignment, you could have shown real chart example instead of just whiteboard learning. So in the whiteboard series, you want to see less whiteboard. Okay, noted. Thank you for the constructive criticism, brother. Yeah, like I will, bro, and I've shown lots of fucking real chart examples. I always do. Don't worry. Trust the process. All right, let's get through some of these chart requests here. So as always, people want to look at Hyperliquid. So hyperliquid, nothing's changed, right? We're in the upper portion of this range. We have this daily kind of breaker. This would be the breaker. This would be the order block. Same level here. It's retesting. And the reason this zone is so important is because this is a bullish order block for this up leg. But if this fails to hold, this becomes a bearish breaker, right? So really, hyperliquid, you do not want to see it trade below this low. If we trade below this low, this is a high time frame SFP, and I think there's a very good chance that we go and wipe out a bunch of, maybe that's aggressive, but that we go and wipe out probably at least this, right? And that would have to be coupled with Bitcoin rolling over, right? But for now, like, you can assume that this is demand, right? Like, if we go on the 3-day chart here, it's probably a perfect order block. Like, assume this is demand until it's not. But for now, kind of looks like a double top. It's swept the high. You do not really want to see us trading back below the mid-range, and you definitely don't want to see us trading back below 52. Okay, let's look at ZCash. I think the ZCash chart is almost identical. Oh, look. Remember I drew this fucking bear flag? All right, we talked about this being a bear flag, and there still being that kind of overhang from the tree stuff, and I compared it to this. I said, hey, this kind of looks bear flaggy right now. It has to flip this fair value gap. Remember? Does anyone remember when I said that just a short few days ago? And obviously it came up into the fair value gap. I said if it gets above here, I think new highs, and it's just kind of rolled over. So, that seems to be, I think, the correct call for now, which was like, do not long this yet. You could now argue like, hey, is this demand here? Sure, but I just think that there's other markets, better looking chart setups than this one, not inspiring a lot of confidence right now. BOT, so this is Kang's Robostrategy. I think it's too early. Like, to me, this is too early to really do TA on. Like, what are we looking at here, right? This is like a month and a half old. It's a little too early for me to do TA on. I think a lot of people exited on this first pump. Like, people were like, oh, we love Andrew Kang, and then they immediately sold. I know people who did exactly that. This is like a long-term play here, right? Like, this is a long-term play here. Like, do you believe in the robotics narrative, right? Elon is unbelievably bullish on robotics. Do we believe that robots are going to be, taking over a lot of jobs in factories, some blue collar work? Who fucking knows? Working at the Target checkout, having sex with your wife. And if you're bullish on that future, this is a way to get exposure to robotics, right? There's not that many publicly traded robotics companies yet. This is a way to get some of that exposure. This owns publicly traded robotics companies. I imagine this also represents private I don't actually know the breakdown of Robostrategy, but I imagine it also represents some private placements that Kang has made within the robotics sector. So if you're bullish on robotics, this is a way to express that interest, that bet, that financial position. In terms of doing TA on it, it's just too soon to me, right? Like, this thing can end up being wildly successful, and the chart can like do this still, right? So it's too early to make any sort of call here. But if you're a robo bull, something to watch. But if the market corrects, who knows? So I don't really know. For now, the only line I see is like, okay, you kind of have a bit of a trend line here. You have a low, a high, and a higher low. That's all the trend line is representing here. People are always like, man, you used to never use trend lines. I only use trend lines to show you guys the trend, right? What does this trend line show? It just shows that this low is higher than this low. It's just a visual way to represent the trend, okay? But yeah, so like that's kind of what I see right now, potential trend. And if we make a new high above here, okay, well then we're in an uptrend. Let's see what happens. Prop firm is day trading. Advice of those who bought a breakout evaluation. Thank you, Professor. You also said, how do I trade breakout prop firm evaluations if BTC is not moving? What other assets can I trade that's going to help me pass when BTC is stalling? So prop firms do not have to be day trading. A lot of people use them to day trade, but with breakout specifically, the way we set up our rules is we allow you to swing trade. We do not have equity-based drawdown. Our drawdowns are balance-based. They track on equity, but they're balance-based, meaning you can hold open positions for swings. One of the biggest ever payouts on breakout was someone who longed Bitcoin like here and held it all the way to above 100K. So this is a multi-month trade that they took, one single trade. So we have lots of people who swing trade on breakout as well. But yes, a lot of people use it to day trade too. What can you trade? Well, there's some altcoins that have moved. It's not like nothing is moving. Solana, just in the last couple of days here, right, has traded up 20%, down 10%, down 20%, up 20%. So even though it doesn't seem like it's moved that much, that's a good amount of volatility, especially if you're trading a big account. You can trade a 200K account at breakout with leverage. That's a $400,000 Solana position, right? So if Solana goes up 10%, that's 40 grand. That's more than enough to pass that 200K evaluation or any evaluation, because you get a lot of leverage in both the actual leverage and then the size of the account. We are looking at adding the HIP-3 stuff. So NASDAQ, right? Silver. Well, this would actually be XAG, I guess. And like oil, I think. I don't remember what else, but we are experimenting with adding these assets as well. I just don't know the time frame on when they are going to go live, but we are looking to add those HIP-3 assets. That's something that we are actively testing right now to make sure it works well before we switch it on. So you will have some other assets coming soon. TAO. So I don't know when I charted this last, but I think what I was trying to show here is we want to see this be an inversion, right? And it's not looking like that right now. But effectively, right, you have a big high time frame low here, right, that we've taken out. And you kind of have this over-under type of setup. So that's still what we're looking at on TAO. Is some sort of over-under. Like if this thing's going to go, you kind of want it to go from right here. You know, it's at an interesting spot. There's your demand. This is exactly where the higher low should form if it's going to. Just because a higher low should form here, the operative phrase is if it's going to. It might not. This thing might just nuke right through to the floor if Bitcoin nukes. This is probably going to nuke as well. We have been microwaved, lobotomized by the market, so we all understand is above or below the gay line and structure breaks. It's harder to hold multi-week swings with prop firm rules, though, because of daily drawdown. Not at breakout. If you have, like, daily drawdown exists, but you can hold a multi-week swing. Your daily drawdown recalculates based off of your balance, but if your balance never changes, so let's say you have a $100,000 account, okay? And you open a long on Bitcoin and you're now at 120K equity because the trade is up 20 grand, but you have not closed the trade. This thing can go all the way back down to 105. Then it can go to 100 and 100. It can go, and then it could go up to 150K. None of these swings will breach you, assuming that your balance is still 100K, because that daily drawdown is still calculated based on your balance. Now, if your balance changes, it will recalculate based on what your balance is at the close of the day. But if you have a trade that is open, you can go through massive UP&L swings, and the daily drawdown will not affect you so long as your balance was still there. So you just need to go on the dashboard and find out what your balance is at. That's what your daily drawdown is going to be based on, and it tracks on equity, but it's based on balance. Now, obviously, swing trading is better on a personal account where there's no rules. Like, of course, right? But in terms of prop firm rules, ours are by far the most trader friendly. Most firms will breach you on UP&L swings. We will not do that. Well, unless you, of course, hit the drawdown. But we're not going to breach you for being massively in profit and then going back to break even. Have we ever denied a payout? If so, why? We have never denied a payout. We're working on DCA, bro. All that stuff is coming. Thoughts on the H12, H1 shorts and the H4, M15 longs on Solana? There's TAO, by the way, guys. H12, H1 longs. Are you talking about? I don't see, like, unless you're talking about the long that we're already in, like the long we're already in the long. On the H4, M15. Like, are you talking about this here? I guess H4. I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, you could argue this is an H4 M15. It's not like my favorite, but we're kind of at the mid-range on the H4. Like, I would argue the H4 range is very obviously this. So we're in the discount. Like, it's not my favorite trade because of what Bitcoin is doing, but technically we have broken structure. So you could enter, you could enter, you know, based on like this. So I see it. I'm not personally changing. I'm not personally taking this setup, and I think the setup we went over last week is much better. But there you go. Which do you think is better, your Haven videos or your whiteboard videos? They're both fucking great. They're different, right? The whiteboard videos is meant to get mass. I'm trying to make this series really big and a very good resource where people could go and learn the basics of trading price action in a very clear and easy and understandable way. In the Haven itself, I have a bunch of educational videos, but I teach you my exact system in a very compact, direct, and actionable way where it's like, this is exactly what I do, and this is exactly how I trade, and then I show you the trades I'm taking with that system. So they're both good. They're just different. I mean, the whiteboard series is meant to be, you know, for the masses. The Haven videos is like, you want to know exactly how I trade? This is exactly my system. You get to see me trade it. All the trades I take in there are based on my system, and I've been doing very well in the Haven with my trades. And then you also have me in there, so you can ask me questions and you can ask me to look at your stuff as well. So, you know, different strokes for different folks. But I'm trying to save crypto YouTube. I made this mission a very long time ago. I used to talk about this back on my videos in like 2019, 2020, 2021. I always talked about taking down BitBoy because I thought he was very bad for the space. Now looking at the influencers and KOLs we have now, I kind of miss BitBoy. But my goal back then was to take him down. And so I was like, you know what? I'll try and change crypto YouTube by providing like useful information. Like if you go on my crypto YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, I have over 1,000 videos. Every video is either a live stream or an educational video on how to trade. It's not me reviewing meme coins. It's not me trying to get you to buy coins. It's not me taking paid deals for coins to tell you to buy them. Like how I tried to teach people how to trade. And if I took sponsorships, I would try and take sponsorships from trading exchanges like Bybit in the past and Kraken. And so that way there was no ulterior motive, right? Or misaligned incentives. Like I genuinely have been trying to help people. And but I never stuck with it because unlike the vast majority of crypto YouTubers, I made money trading. So I didn't need to make a YouTube channel to make money. I was making money trading. I had money from the markets. I've had businesses. I've done lots of stuff. And so I never was like really locked in. I would go through periods where I would do a bunch of videos and then I'd fall off. Then I'd do more videos, then I'd fall off. But I've been motivated again, and it helps Breakout, which is still a company that I'm part of, even though I sold it to Kraken. So the more people that find me are going to find Breakout. And it's, you know, it's something I genuinely enjoy. Like I get genuine enjoyment out of helping people learn to trade. I like Ansem, arguably the biggest trading influencer on Twitter for crypto, has said it himself. You can ask him. He's said it many times. I'm one of the people who taught him or who he learned trading from. Not the only person, obviously. Hasaka learned a ton of stuff from me. Lots of these OG crypto guys who have their own paid groups, who have gone on to do incredible things, were in my Discord 7-8 years ago learning the basics. And I'm not trying to say I'm like some fucking god of trading or anything like that. I enjoy it and I love helping people. And I've made multiple millionaires just off of my free content. I have people who have messaged me crazy numbers being like, dude, I've retired because of learning to trade from you. They're not even on the internet anymore. They've left. Okay. So I get genuine enjoyment out of that. And in an industry where we're basically like net zero to society, trading is like zero sum. You know, we're not really helping anyone. I'm trying to extract money from the markets, which inevitably is another person. I think that trading is what gives me my little bit of like, or trading, educating, and all of this is free. The whiteboard series is free. Is the good karma, you know, that I get from that. Like people are like, oh, well, you have the Haven. It's like, dude, I joined the Haven in May of 2023. I've been on Twitter since 2014, and I've been posting YouTube videos about trading since 2017. I joined the Haven like a little over 3 years ago. So that's a relatively recent thing. And it's a very low cost product. And there's also 5 other analysts in there. So it's not like that's a, like, you know, it's nothing crazy. It's something recent. So yeah, anyways, I don't know what the question was. Where am I taking questions, Vic? I'm looking at all the channels. I'm looking at Twitter. I'm looking at Kick. I'm looking at YouTube as well. So Cody is checking them all, and he'll take your questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. But yeah, I'm sorry. I just went on that rant. But like, I genuinely enjoy trading, teaching people to trade. It's something very fun for me. And I just feel like a lot of the trading influencer space is extremely grifty, extremely scammy. I already made my money trading. I sold my business to Kraken for a bunch of money. I'm doing this for the love of the game. And then at one point I'll stop, and then that'll be that. Do you know White Phoenix? No idea. When will I move away from Breakout? I don't know. Is Sol a possible H12 short right now? Did it put in an H12 SFP? That's going to be your answer. Has it? Is that an SFP there? I guess. No SFP unless it's on a different chart, but I don't see an SFP on Solana right now. Like, I would love to like move my brand slowly away from crypto. You know who Julian Petrulis is? I love his content. Just like cool entrepreneur stuff, a little bit about trading and investing, general just like life shit. That's something I would love to do with my brand, you know, over time. And I think I have the track record to do it. Like, I haven't fucking ripped anyone off or scammed anyone. I've had a lot of success in crypto and business. So that's something I could maybe see being cool in the future. I don't see an H12 SFP, bro, on Sol right now. All right, next up, Fartcoin. Hot air rises. I miss Dip Wheeler. Where's my boy Dip Wheeler at? Unfortunately, Fartcoin is experiencing what every altcoin, meme coin experiences, which is, you know, it loses its attention. No one really cares anymore. It's unfortunate. You know, it's unfortunate, but, you know, I think, does this have a great narrative and it's a great coin and it's funny? Sure. But why buy this when there's going to be a million new hot meme coins in the future? I don't know. Do I think Fartcoin sees a new all-time high again? Probably not. Most of these coins never do. But yeah, let's see. I think that's a pretty clear and obvious level, right? Sometimes the best analysis is single line analysis. Like, if you can look at the chart and find one line that has a ton of interactions with it, usually that's pretty good, right? Okay, support, consolidate, got below, then it's resistance, deviated above, back below, resistance. So that to me is instantly a good level there. It also happens to be right at the 20-cent big figure. In terms of, you know, like, do I want this coin? Like, I have no interest in trading this whatsoever right now. Short term, if it can get above here, you know, maybe it has a move from here to here, right? Like, is this a tradable move up into here? Absolutely, but it's got to clear this, and then the 20-cent level is pretty significant. Why do I use a centralized exchange chart when I can use DexScreen? Just because I have the centralized exchange open, and I do most of my trading on centralized exchanges. But let's look at the Dex screener. I don't think it's going to change anything that I've said here. So here's the Dex screener with full price history, just like you asked for, and the level is the exact same. So this hasn't changed anything that I said. Arguably, you could say this just shows you that we have serious resistance above us, because this was the demand that caused this entire rally, and we're now below it. So if anything, it looks, you know, like even scarier on the Dex screener. But there you go. iCrypto says, I burn nearly 30 breakout accounts. Nearly? Let's pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. I want to hear you say I burned way more than 30 breakout accounts. Here's a tip, though. Use code MAIN. Get yourself a cheeky little discount on the next purchase to get you over 30. Do you know when Kraken will release their prop trading to Australia? I don't. If you click the link in the description of this YouTube video, or if you go below my tweet announcing the stream, I have a link to the disclaimers, and that will tell you. Or reach out to Kraken support. I don't actually know if it's live or when it's going to be live in Australia. You're welcome. J-Toe's on the list. Is Circle's on the list. Okay, so guys, here's what I got for chart requests here before we move on. I'm going to drop the Kraken Prop link here in the chat. So if you want to chat, check about Australia, you could click this link right here. What's up, me Macos? How you doing, bro? Here's what I got, guys, on chart requests before we move on. I got Syrup. I got Intel. I think that's what Intel is. Yeah, Intel. BNB. We'll talk about Ansem's coin. Black Bull. Is that what it is? Big Black Bull. Did I just insert big there? I don't know. We'll talk about Circle, Pumpfun, and then we're going to look at virtuals. Sure, we'll add layer 0 there as well. Sol, SFP on the monthly. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I mean, we're long off of this already, right? Like the long I shared is based on the monthly SFP and the SMT divergence, remember? Do I believe in a proof of work, renaissance, rejuvenation of Satoshi, cypherpunk vision? Unfortunately, bro, I think it's much more likely that crypto and Bitcoin specifically just gets more and more institutionalized and we drift further and further away from Satoshi's vision. I do think in a world where privacy and financial sovereignty become more and more important as the walls kind of close in on us, like, you know, you're free, you think you're free, and then, you know, slowly this is what's happening to the world. The walls are closing in on us, and it's unfortunate, but I do think having something like Bitcoin where you can self-custody becomes important in that world. But in terms of, like, you know, Satoshi's original vision, what the cypherpunks thinks, funks think, I don't know, less sure on that, bro. Every day we stray further from Satoshi's vision. Big agree. Okay, so we're gonna go through that list that I mentioned there. Trader Mikasa su casa, amigo. Me amo Trader Main. Yo soy hermano gigante in mi pantalones. I took 2 years of Spanish. As you can tell, I'm pretty much fluent. What's your opinion on the silver bullet? Does it work on crypto as well? Do you think NQ on Breakout will be tradable on the 1 minute chart? Does the silver bullet work on crypto? Yes. Does it work as well as it works on NQ? Probably not. I think that's for a variety of reasons, partly because crypto's 24/7. When will NQ be tradable on the 1 minute chart? I don't know. I assume yes. I don't see why it wouldn't be tradable on the 1 minute chart, but I don't trade the 1 minute chart. Haven't in a very long time. But it was going to be pulling the liquidity from Hyperliquid. So if you can trade the NQ on the 1 minute chart on Hyperliquid, it'll work on Breakout. Because that's going to be the product that we're mirroring there. Okay, so let's get into the macros. Thank you for watching for 2 years, man. That's crazy. Okay, let's get into Syrup. Have I ever looked at Syrup before? I don't think so. What is Syrup? Who requested this? What does it do? If you learned your Spanish from watching me, you probably are getting hella chicaquiles. You know what I'm saying, bro? You're probably drowning in guacamole. Because I got a way with words, specifically Spanish ones. I don't know what Syrup does. On-chain credit, Maple Finance. Oh, Maple Syrup, I get it. Are these guys Canadian? Should I know this? I'm such a bad Canadian. I'm like the Canadian who's like, oh my God, World Cup, I'm so Canadian. And then as soon as it's done, I go back to bitching. 4.8 billion TVL is crazy. It's crazy. What's up, Gilberto? Mi amigo con viejo tiempo. Sí, sin azúcar. They buy back their tokens with revenue. So, I mean, if that's the case, this is a good example, much like Pumpfun, which I think is also in the chart request here, that not all token buybacks are equal. Because you know who else buys back their token with revenue? Hyperliquid. Right? So how come, you know who else buys back their token with revenue? Right? And does buy and burns is like Pumpfun. How come some of these charts look like shit, some of them don't? Well, not all buybacks are the same. So is this an area of demand? Absolutely. This is monthly demand here. It's a big zone. It's worth paying attention to. Still aggressively selling off, right? Like we're just now starting to go sideways on the daily, but the high time frame is still clear lower lows and lower highs. That being said, we're in high time frame demand here, and we do have a weekly sweep. So could this get some sort of relief bounce? I think there's a lot of resistance above us here, and this is still a very firmly bearish chart. But a move from here to here is 20%, right? So weekly SFP, go down to the H12. You could argue this is an H12, H1 setup right now on this. RR is meh because your stop has to be pretty wide. You could try and get an entry down here. That would give you much better risk reward. Now you're at 2R just into here, which is just barely into that fair value gap. That would be the setup effectively, right? Here's your H12 breaker. There's your H12 sweep. That's the setup if it's going to give. I don't know if it's going to give. I'm not taking this trade myself. Now, if this trade works, I'm going to tell you that I told you so. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to say, well, that's why I didn't take it. So I can't lose. But if you take the setup and it doesn't work, in theory, you could lose money. But either way, I'll collect some clout. So yeah, that would be the setup, right? Monthly demand, weekly SFP, 12-hour breaker, stop below the SFP, entry at the breaker. That is effectively the setup that you're looking at here. Whether or not it plays out, whether or not Bitcoin behaves, I have no fucking idea. Okay, what's next here? Intel. I feel like we just checked this last time. Yeah, we definitely did. So I'd been drawing some of my crazy trend lines, right? Talking about demand here, most likely. And you can see, right, we came down, broke the aggressive trend line. Where'd we trade to? The next trend line. We dipped below into demand, but it's kind of holding. So I would, at this point, probably adjust this trend line like this. That's the current trend that we're in. You can get rid of this thing here. Maybe we have a secondary kind of more aggro trend forming here, but not really. It's basically the same angle. I don't have a setup here right now. I think you would have wanted to buy kind of on this retest here. I think the next trade on this is if we make a significantly new high, not that that'd be crazy, but if we make a fresh high here, I think you could then buy the pullback, something like that, but no current trade. I'd want to see it move up and then get the pullback for the setup. What's the next biggest narrative for crypto? Honestly, dude, I have no fucking idea. It's like right now, seemingly creator coins are the meta. Do I like it? No, I hate it. I don't think it's value additive to the space. I don't see how this is demonstrably different than the last kind of celebrity onboarding grift that we had. I don't think Ansem is trying to scam people. I don't. But I don't think a coin based on a person is generally a good idea. It's a lot of pressure to put on that person. And if the coin starts to go down, and there's just so many potential points where this could be sketchy. Are the airdrops going out? Who are they going out to? Are they going out to legit people? Are those people holding? Are those people that Ansem knows? Is it actually random? I have no idea. I reached out to Ansem. I texted him. I asked him if he wanted to chat, like come on stream or do an interview and just ask him what his thought processes are. Because I genuinely believe Ansem is a smart person. I know him in real life. I think he's smart. And I don't think he's trying to screw people over. Just like with the celebrity coin meta, I think Ansem was put into a very unique situation where he had total attention and mind share. I mean, for fuck's sakes, he had Kanye West reaching out to him about crypto stuff. And he was navigating it completely blind, right? Like there's no right way to do something that's never been done before. You know what I mean? So I don't think Ansem has bad intentions by any means, but I would love to understand more what his thought process is. I know he's laid it out basically saying, hey, Pumpfun needs to do the airdrop to get people back into the trenches, to get retail back. My counterpoint is that I don't think that this is retail. Retail got absolutely butt fucked this cycle. And they do every cycle, but they got absolutely rinsed this cycle because of meme coins and celebrity coins and Trump coin. And I think the people that are in the trenches that are benefiting from Black Bull or whatever other creator coins are being launched out there, it's the same pile of money amongst the same amount of people. And much like the Pumpfun trenches, that usually seems like a very select few people, a very small minority of people actually ever end up making any money in this, and the vast majority of people get fucked. Now, I've seen Ansem airdrop a bunch of the token. There's people tweeting out that they like bought a car. I saw someone say, hey, I got the airdrop, I bought a car. So there's some net good here. And I think if you're going to give 60% of the supply to anyone, you know, Ansem would be destroying his brand and his credibility, which would be a very stupid thing to do, which is of course why I think he wouldn't do it. I also don't think he's a bad person by rugging the token. You know what I mean? Like he can make enough money from his brand. He's got a show with FaZe Banks and Polymarket. Like it would be silly for him to rug his brand over screwing the token over. I just think that's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of things that could happen. I don't really know. But the best thing for the market is not meme coins. It's Bitcoin going up. Like that's always the answer. And educating people on the dangers of meme coins and altcoins, and that the fact is that the vast majority of you are gambling. You're scratching lottery tickets. You see one person made it rich off of meme coins and using that, it's being like, well, no other place can you make $1 million off of $100 other than meme coins. That may be true, but how many people lost $100 relative to that one person who made it big? Like the trenches are a fucking field of death, despair, body parts. Like it's not good. The numbers that came out of Pumpfun and out of meme coins, the vast majority of people lost their ass and ruined their lives and lost all their money and never took profit, if they even ever were in profit. A very minute amount of wallets, it was like less than 1%, I think, had made over $10,000 on Pumpfun. This is when I looked last. It could be different now, probably even worse now. So I just don't think that this, like, I get the idea, and it's so easy to sell, right? Because it's like what Trump said the other day when he's like, you know, selling communism is easy. Everything's free, just free everything, right? It's very easy. You don't think I've been like, man, look at the engagement Ansem's getting. Everyone's fucking hyping him up, right? Well, they were doing that last time. And then the moment things went wrong, right? Celebrity coin meta died because Bitcoin died, because the celebrity coin meta was meaningless. It had zero value whatsoever. It just happened to be an area that got liquidity on the back of Bitcoin having liquidity and going up. The moment it died, everyone was calling Ansem a retard, a scammer, racial slurs. They were trying to dox his like fucking kids, death threats, like, you know what I mean? It's no different than Michael Saylor. Everyone thinks Michael Saylor's a genius when Bitcoin's going up. The moment it goes down, he's a retard. So I just think that there's, again, I think like it's an easy thing to sell. Look at Murad. If I got on Twitter every day and just said, we are all going to get rich, all you got to do is believe in this coin, that coin, my coin, whatever coin. We're all going to make it. We're all going to get rich. I'm going to help you. I would have way more followers and I would get way more engagement than I do. That's just not the route I've chosen to go with my brand or how I want to operate. And I'm not saying what Ansem is doing wrong. I don't agree with it. I think the trenches are a net negative. And I think that the people who are trying to tell you otherwise are the people who profited off of you in the trenches. The vast majority, go read the comments under Ansem's posts. These are not rich people commenting. The rich people are quote retweeting saying, this is great, Ansem saving the trenches. The real victims of the trenches are in the comments saying, please God, give me an airdrop. I'm broke. Give me anything for free. Give me any money. So I don't know. I would love to chat with him about it and just understand his thoughts more. I do think meme coins have a place in crypto, just like penny stocks, and people are going to gamble and stuff. But I think that the trenches and the people who are the voice of the trenches, the Ansems and the other people of the world, the Murads, maybe he's not a trencher, he's more a holder. But the other trenchers haven't done a good job being honest with people about the reality, which is most of you are going to get absolutely raped in the trenches and lose all of your money. The exception, the people who did turn $1,000 into millions, are not the rule. That's survivorship bias. Like, look at Spider Crypto, DeFi Brian, $50 million on Trump, lost it all. That is an unbelievable 1% outcome to make 50 million on a meme coin, and he managed to lose it all. What's the likelihood that you're going to get rich in the trenches? Almost zero. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen, and it's something that you should completely ignore. That's just my opinion. And again, if I wanted to be more popular on Twitter, I would just tell everyone that they're going to be rich and the trenches are coming back and meme coins are the future, and believe it. Don't ever give up. But that's just not me. And so I would love to chat Ansem about it again. I think Ansem's intentions are good. I think he's smart. He clearly has crazy motion, insane motion. And if anyone can create a good outcome out of a creator coin, I think it's him. I think it's better him. It's better that it's him than it is him talking to a celebrity, because at the end of the day, these celebrities don't care at all. They are max extractive. They just want the bag. And he knows that now. He learned that. We all learned that. Some of us already knew that, but now we all know that, that these celebrities do not give a shit. Iggy Azalea and whoever else, like, these people were there to extract from day one. It was very obvious, but now everyone knows, right? So if anyone can make a creative coin work, maybe it's Ansem. I agree that, like, hey, if this is going to happen, everyone should probably focus on the one coin. Let's not fucking have a bunch of other creators launch coins. Like, that's going to vamp liquidity, whatever the term is. I think that's the right call. Is like, if this is going to work, it's got to be Ansem if anyone's going to do it. Whether or not it works, it lasts. If Bitcoin goes down 20%, I don't see how this doesn't absolutely fucking blow up and not work. But hey, if anyone's going to do it, it's him. And like I said, I think he's smart. I think he's well-intentioned. I just think it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. And I hope and I assume that he is properly planned how to handle this from both a financial perspective, a safety perspective, an accounting perspective, and all of those other things that now matter, because the value of his tokens is like multiple 8 figures. I know he doesn't have that money. He can't sell those coins and get 40 million. It would nuke. There's no volume, whatever. But there's a lot of money at play now, and there's a lot of people paying attention. So it's like, you got to be very careful how you go through with this. But yeah, so that's probably my opinion on my opinion on Ansem Coin, which was one of the chart requests anyway. So I wish him the best. I would love to chat with him about it if he wants to come on and chat. I texted him. Feel free to tweet at him if you want him to chat with me and see if we can get a connection going. And I'd love to have a combo with the guy. I like Ansem a lot. And I just kind of want to see where his head's at. Be like, bro, you got a lot of attention right now. Clearly, based on the engagement he's getting, people are starving. But if I tweet it out, I'm going to give away $5,000 to 10 people who respond to this tweet. I would get tens of thousands of likes. You know, and that's effectively what he's doing. He's saying he's going to airdrop you free money, right? So you got to be careful, right? Like, not all press is necessarily good press. I think the fact that the engagement level is so high is not necessarily because people are so desperate for the trenches to come back, as much as, if you read the comments, people are fucking broke and need money. Anyway, that's my opinion. Yeah, like if exact tens of thousands of comments. If I tweet it out, I'm gonna give $5,000 to it, but I'm gonna give out 50 grand. All you have to do is like and comment and retweet all of my tweets for the next week. I will get crazy numbers, right? Promise people free shit. People love free shit. Someone said BNB. Yeah, BNB's obviously hurting a little bit, I imagine, because of the why would I look at BNB anywhere other than Binance is crazy. You know, the MiCA stuff, I think this is kind of, again, based single line analysis on BNB. Like, I think this 500 level is pretty big deal. Right? We're on the quarterly chart here. Like, this is a big area that we're retesting here. So we'll see what CZ has up his sleeve. But this is historically been one of the better performing coins, you know, over the years. I think that probably lines up pretty nicely, yeah, with another trend line test as well. So this is one of the better performing coins, cycle over cycle, because of the Binance machine behind it. I think it'll be very interesting to see what CZ is going to do here. The Europe thing is huge, right? The Europe thing is huge. You know, the move towards KYC is huge for a lot of these dexes. Like, Hyperliquid's going to have to go KYC, I think, inevitably. Yeah, we'll see what CZ, like, CZ, I think, is richer than Bill Gates. I wouldn't count crypto's OG, you know, mover and shaker, one of the OG mover and shakers. And doubt his ability to make something happen with his coin. Okay, so yeah, big area here, 510 level, pretty big level, I'd say, for BNB. Circle. Yeah, so I mean, Circle is not loving that these banks are starting their own stablecoin. You know, new entrant into the arena. You know what's a crazy chart? Like, this is the Bitfinex token. This is the Bitfinex token, right? What is Bitfinex got going for it? Fucking Tether, dude. Pretty good fucking chart here. So, Circle, I don't know what's going to come of it. Like, what's the market share on Circle versus, like, USDC versus USDT? Like, I think Circle is getting, like, mollywopped. Yeah, so USDT is 60% of the market share. Circle is 25%. However, In meaningful adjusted transaction volume, excluding wash trading, USDC surpasses USDT. Interesting. So USDT remains the undisputed king of raw liquidity, retail level usage, and emerging market remittances. It sees massive turnover in offshore exchanges. USDC functions as the institutional and regulated rail. It's primarily integrated with the mainstream entities like Visa, Stripe, and BlackRock, leading non-crypto settlement volume. So this definitely helps explain the reaction to the chart here. If you all of a sudden have where is it here? Yeah. Stripe, Visa, Coinbase, MasterCard, BlackRock just launched a rival stablecoin. So if they're if Circle's main business, which is BlackRock, Visa, and Stripe, etc., are launching their own stablecoin, OpenUSD, that is bad for USDC, it seems. When the weekly range is too big, do you use the daily or the H12 dealing range? I watched the last episode of the boot camp. Are the top-down analysis we done 12-hour H4, 1 hour? I would use, if the weekly's too big, go to the 3-day first. If that's still too big, check the 2-day, then go down to the daily. Ideally, you want there to be a decent amount of time and space between those higher time frames. But yes, you can interchange them. As long as they are top-down, you can still do that. Yo, just passed my 100K eval yesterday. Let's fucking go, dude. But yeah, clearly this is like a shot, confidence in the business model if they're going to be launching their own coin. But this is still a meaningfully big business. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I mean, this is kind of deep in the discount at this point, right? Like, if this shit's going to bounce, you kind of want to see it happen right around here. Something to watch for sure. Okay, guys, I got to move on because we've been doing charts for an hour and a half straight. So the last thing I'm going to look at here is Pumpfun. I think part of what Ansem started with his whole thing is, like, first of all, he was calling bottom on Solana, right? I said, hey, everyone's calling bottom on Solana. Rather than bitch and moan and say, oh my God, the Solana KOLs are getting paid, rather than just be retarded, look at the chart and see if there's a setup. And I said, hey, there is a setup, right? We have this key demand area here, right? We're deep in the discount. We're in demand, and we have a monthly SFP forming. So I said there's a long idea here. And if it gets above 90, it becomes even better looking. But for now, we took the long based on the chart rather than worrying and bitching and complaining because a bunch of people were bull posting Sol. Another thing that he brought up was Sol BTC looks good. I said, okay, well, Sol BTC looks interesting here for sure, right? Pull your fib from the low to the high. My counter argument was like, well, Sol BTC looks a lot like ETH BTC. But we're in demand here. This is the best Sol BTC has looked in some time now. Starting to kind of round out. Aggressive selling ending off. It's putting in a structure change here, right? There's your low. Now it's got a new high. So that's bullish structure on Sol BTC. So I completely see the argument here that Sol BTC looks good. That's apparent. The fact that Sol is going up versus Bitcoin. He said he thinks looking at Sol ETH is more important because, Solana is where everything's going to happen on chain because it's simply better than ETH. It's faster, it's cheaper, it's better for retail to use, it's better to build on. All of these things are true. So again, this is a chart that looks, potentially like it's starting to turn around a little bit. So I think a lot of his thesis was around Sol is bottoming. And $60 Sol, around $60 Sol is good value, which I don't disagree with. Do I think it can go lower? Yes, but I don't think that this is bad value long-term over a long enough time horizon, 6 to 12, 18 months for sure. But also part of it was around Pumpfun, right? Never launching, never doing the airdrop, right? So Pumpfun never did. What's the best place to look at Pumpfun here? Like Pumpfun never did an airdrop. And they buy back, they burn. Never did an airdrop though. And, you know, I think part of his thesis before the Black Bull thing started was like, hey, if we can get Pumpfun to do an airdrop, it's going to reinvigorate the trenches. I just feel like people look at the trenches through rose-colored glasses, right? And they're like, oh man, trenches, the times were so good. Like, from what I remember of the trenches, the vast majority of people were getting absolutely annihilated, and a very small amount of people, either through skill or, you know, let's be honest, insider trading, F&F, caballing, pump and dumping, were making all the money. And the stats don't lie. 99% of wallets on Pumpfun never made any money. Right? So I think people look back like, oh, the trenches were so great. We were all getting rich. It's like, no, most people were getting their ass handed to them. And a very small amount of people were making all of the money, whether or not that was through skill or, you know, these people are in group chats together. They're bundling coins. They're colluding to promote them, extracting. Like, that's the trenches I remember. So this idea that Pumpfun doing an airdrop is going to save the trenches, when in reality, is it not just going to give money back directly to the people who are probably going to, like, you're giving, it's like giving a rake back at the casino. They're going to sit right back down at the table. It might be good for a bit, but I think overall, probably net negative. But who knows? You know, maybe he's right. And I do think they should do an airdrop, just like OpenSea should have done one. Like, you don't want to become the OpenSea where no one gives a shit about NFTs anymore. And, you know, all these people paid, you know, thousands and hundreds of thousands in fees using your platform, and you missed the window for the airdrop. If there's ever been a window for the airdrop for the Pumpfun team, I agree with Ansem. It's like, let's fucking go. Looking at the chart itself, monthly SFP is what immediately jumps out at me. And if we can get a break above here, I think that this can rally. How high, for how long, no idea. All right, guys. So I'm gonna cut the chart section here because I got to get into some other stuff. But this was an hour and a half of answering questions and charts. I hope you guys like it. I hope you learned something. If you like what I'm talking about and you want to support these streams, the best way to do it, leave nice comments, likes, retweets, share this around. I really appreciate you all you guys tuning in always. It means the world to me. Yeah. So real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Kraken Pro. So Kraken Pro sponsors these streams, and right now they want you to check out Kraken Prop. So Kraken Prop is a prop firm that is built directly inside Kraken Pro. So you can trade their capital instead of your own. It's a very safe, straightforward setup. If you've traded with Breakout, it works very similarly. You pay for an evaluation fee, cheapest $20, right? Cheapest one's $20, $24 here, right? Use code MAIN, you'll get a discount. This will get even cheaper. That's your maximum downside for that opportunity, right? So you can trade up to $200,000 in funded capital plus leverage on top of that. Your maximum exposure is that evaluation fee. And then the upside is based on your performance. You can keep up to 90% of the profits. There's no additional strings attached, no time limits, no consistency rules, no profit caps, no strategy restrictions. And it's the Kraken Pro terminal that you already know. It's all native within your Kraken Pro account. The evaluation, the funded wallet, your payouts, they all live in one place. And you can even use your existing Kraken funds to pay for the evaluation, which is pretty cool. Obviously Kraken, super trustworthy. They've been running since 2011. They're ranked number 1 globally by Kaiko, over 2 trillion with a T in platform volume, and they funded more than 35,000 wallets since 2023 with no payout delays. Obviously, most people don't pass on their first attempt. So this is a structured performance environment, not just a checkout. So this money is on the line. If you buy this 200K account, the most you can lose is the $660, but this is money that you are risking. Okay. So be ready to actually trade. That is a real cost. If you want to know more, click the link that I shared or the link below. And obviously, quick legal note, this is an unregulated service. Availability varies by region, so check the disclaimer before jumping in. Okay, next up, guys, I want you to go follow me on Instagram. We've started to go a little viral on Instagram. Any reason you use Kraken Prop over Breakout? If you want to stay within the Kraken Pro ecosystem and you really like it, use Kraken Prop. It lives within there, but you can use both. And if you have 200K at Breakout, you can also get 200K at Kraken Prop. So now you're trading two 200K accounts, whereas Breakout, we limit you at 200K. Kraken Prop limits you at 200K, so you can do both. But that would be the reason to use one or the other. You can use both. We've had some of these posts are going a little more viral. 1,500 likes on this one, guys. We had another one that went viral like back here, I think. Is it this far back? Maybe not. But we've had a few, right? Like they're starting to get a little bit of traction. 578 likes, right? 1,500 likes. We had another one back here that was over 1,000. So your boy's starting to gain a little traction on the old Instagram, and I would love for you to support me as I continue to build out this show and this channel. You can see some of these reels, are going, right? 66K views, 14K. We had one back here that had over 100. I'm almost certain. I can't seem to find it right now because I'm retarded. But they're starting to pop off. 18K there. So if you want to support me, Order Book Show on Instagram and the Order Book Show also on Twitter. So likes, comments, retweets are really helpful, guys. And this is, I'm doing this for free for y'all, sharing. Hopefully you're learning something. But yeah, last but not least, go support your boy on YouTube by watching the Whiteboard Trading Bootcamp. Right? I think we've surpassed, we're almost at 100K views across the playlist now, which is awesome. 22K views on this video, which is great. So if you want to support me, every Monday I release a new one of these videos. They're going very well. I think they're really good quality. I think they're really easy to understand. So again, if you want to support your boy, that's the easiest way to do it. So let's start yapping, okay? Our boy Rasmer has a take on Ansem's coin. He says, people are getting way ahead of themselves talking about onboarding normies for Ansem coin. However, this run can result in something much better than that. Crypto is gay and uncool. Normal people have no idea what we do. Our characters are siloed and niche. Despite this, the ecosystem is fucking cinema. Ansem is holding 80 million in his wallet is just the latest proof of that. Shenanigans like this actually happen quite often. Don't downplay the significance of money influencers like TJR and Brez thinking this shit is tough, by the way. The fact that I barely understand half of what he's written here makes me realize how fucking old I am. I sound retarded even just saying some of these words. This shit's tough, by the way. It's fucking tough, by the way, dude. It's fucking tough as fuck, bro. These guys who are big in their own niches, day trading and SMMA. I don't even know what that is. Simple moving average, which could be considered cringe niches as well, yet they blew up in the mainstream. So with Ansem's coin, there's an opportunity much greater than just onboarding. Fuck the chain. Crypto can actually be made cool again. Ansem clearly is the biggest leader in our industry, and I implore him to take TikTok and Instagram seriously. Ansem can be the beginning of a new era where CT becomes mainstream story everywhere. Interesting take from the boy Rasmer. The biggest thing I would push back on, quite simply, is there's money involved here, right? People are not buying Ansem coin because they believe in Ansem, or they believe that crypto is cool and crypto is going to go mainstream. They're buying Ansem coin because they want to make money. They want money. And there is massive amount of risk when money is involved. I don't know what SMM is. Cody is telling me it's social media marketing agency. It's what a man Gadsy does. You know, I know TGR does Forex stuff and trades futures and whatnot. But Ansem coin is a token that people can trade and can make and lose money on right now. That to me poses systematic risk, where this is all cool. Everyone loves Ansem. He's the man. If something goes wrong and the token goes down, right? And people lose money, like that, their opinion on this whole thing will completely change. I also do not understand people's obsession with trying to make crypto mainstream, right? We need influencers to make crypto mainstream. We need mainstream to attack retail. Crypto has had the president launch a fucking meme coin. It does not get bigger than the president. It doesn't, right? Like the Clarity Act is being talked about. Stable coins, Bitcoin companies, countries have it reserved. Crypto is mainstream. It is mainstream. The fact that we don't have any mainstream crypto influencers, I don't necessarily agree with that either. There's lots of very big brands that are mainstream and in crypto. Just because we don't have our TikTok, Instagram influencers popping off, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, because generally, when people are known in crypto and get any sort of following whatsoever, and they attract retail, that retail comes here and gets raped by all of you guys. So even if Ansem's intentions are fucking pure as the fallen snow, and he attracts this new wave of retail by being popular on Instagram, right, and TikTok, those people are going to come to crypto and get raped by the fucking rapists that exist in our space. That's just how it is. These retail people should be pointed to buying Bitcoin, learning to trade maybe. Even that is a dubious proposition, because the vast majority of people are going to get raped in trading as well. But this idea that we need mainstream TikTok influencers and Instagrams to make crypto cool, I disagree with wholeheartedly, because what are we going to be leading them to? Come to crypto. Crypto's super cool. Look at this guy we have in crypto. He's great. And then they're going to come to crypto and they're going to get fucking raped, because that's what happens in crypto. Unless you own Bitcoin, for the most part, you get fucking destroyed buying any other coin. Outside of a very few random picks, for the vast majority of time, crypto outside of Bitcoin is pure raping and pillaging, max extraction at all levels, So I don't know, man. I just don't agree with this idea that Ansem needs to be popular on Instagram and TikTok, because what is the end goal? You get more people to come into the trenches so they can get raped by the resident rapists in the trenches. You know what I mean? It's like, imagine if you went to a country where everybody rapes everybody, okay? And you're like, well, hey, I'm going to go to these countries with people who don't know about our rape culture, and I'm going to bring them and say, hey, this country's actually super great. Look at me. I'm from there, and I don't rape anyone. And then they come to the country, and then that guy doesn't rape them, but everyone else does. Crypto has a problem with that goes much deeper than not having mainstream influence. People seem to forget when the meme coin shit was popping, it was huge on TikTok. There was thousands upon thousands of TikToks getting millions upon millions of views about whatever the newest meme coin of the week was. Chill guy, Trump's coin. Trump tweeted out his contract address. It does not get more mainstream than that. The problem is not distribution. When crypto is hot, everybody's talking about it. I completely disagree. Crypto's just not hot right now, so it's dead. This idea that Ansem is going to bring attention back to crypto, fine. I hope he does, and I hope my bags go up. But what happens is people bring attention to crypto. Crypto gets hot. People come, and they get brought to Rape Island. And it's like, oh, surprise, you got raped. Like, what is the end goal? That's what I would love to talk to Ansem about, because I believe his intentions are good. I agree with what he's trying with. I understand what Rasmer's trying to say, but where is he leading people to? To the rape factory? Like, you're leading sheep to slaughter. And we have a decade of evidence that this is exactly what happens every time. Whereas the success in crypto on a mass scale does not come from meme coins. We already know how this works. Meme coins this cycle, altcoins last cycle, 99.9% of people lose all their money. This is a really good clip, but I said rape too much. So we're going to need our clippers to bleep that word out. But like, basically, we're leading sheep to slaughter, right? Like, the problem, we know this already. This happens with every altcoin cycle. ICOs, the VC pump and dump scams, meme coins this most recent go around. I love the idea in a perfect world where Ansem is this famous guy on Instagram and TikTok, and he tells everyone crypto's great, and they come back to the trenches. But what happens in the trenches? Everyone gets annihilated. What was an actual good use case for crypto this last cycle? Hyperliquid. A new novel product that worked really well, gave people the ability to trade perps with an awesome tech, no KYC, and they created a massive wealth event. That is so much better than what Pumpfun did. Pumpfun created a platform where people could effectively launch tokens and fuck people. And we know the stats. The vast majority of people who participated in the meme coin supercycle got absolutely fucking annihilated. So again, I love the idea. I believe Ansem's intentions are pure, but I don't think that this is tethered in reality whatsoever. I think it's much more interesting to bullpost Solana as a great place to build and transact on crypto than and meme coins are going to exist. But trying to look back on meme coins favorably and be like, well, this wasn't a rate fact. Oh, well, Bonk did really well, and Pepe did really well, and Whiff did really well. How's the Bonk guy doing? Not so good, right? How are all the Pepe and Bonk bulls doing right now? Are they possibly down 90% from highs? Are they down 90% from a year ago? Are they down 50% in the last 3 months? Like, at the end of yes, it went up for a while. And there was a period of time where the coins went up and people made money. But let's be honest. The vast majority of these people never sell. They never take profit. And they lose it all. And they gamble it all away because no one has proper risk management capabilities. And the attitude is what's being proliferated here by Rasmer and by Ansem, that we're all going to make it. I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry, I got you. That's not true. It's not going to be okay for the vast majority of people. The vast majority of people are going to get absolutely slaughtered. That is where I disagree mostly with this entire premise that this is like a good idea. I think it's a very dubious proposition. And I think what you're doing is is very easy to do, which is promise people that they're going to make money and they're going to get free shit. Of course, people are going to love that fucking idea. It's like people love the idea of communism. You don't need to work. Don't worry. No, don't worry about taxes. Don't worry about anything. Everything's free. We're just going to take it from this guy over here, right? Like, you are the sheep. And as much as I would love for more retail to come to crypto, as if we haven't had unbelievable exposure. The president himself launched a meme coin. Bitcoin is talked about on financial news every single day. This idea that people don't know who crypto is or what crypto is dead wrong. The fact that we don't have a famous Instagram and TikToker in crypto, who gives a shit? And even if we did, where are they leading people? They're leading them to fucking Rape Island, bro. Anyways, ask me how I really feel. So Crypto Creepy says, I did pretty well joining the trenches at the start of 2025. I don't have any insider information, and there's plenty of coins that you can make money on in the trenches if you understand how they work. There's opportunities to make money. Even at times, people were calling it totally dead. I'm saying this because I think the idea you have about the trenches isn't totally right, but I don't know. Everyone has different experiences. How many people do you think are like you? I would say you're an exception to the rule. Exceptions don't make the rule. Just because you made money in the trenches and maybe some of your friends did, the end of the day, the vast majority of people get annihilated. The proof is in the pudding. You can look up percentage of Pumpfun wallets who have made money. Okay. Recently, 73% of active wallets. Hold on here. So a recent scan of Pumpfun active wallets, so only active, 73% showed positive profits. Okay. 65% of those were between $1 and $500. Only 5% of people made more than $1,000. Okay. So this is a very, very minute amount of people who are making actual money on Pumpfun. And the problem is we're promising people millions of dollars. You're going to get rich. This is from peak trenches a year ago. Only 0.048% of users have ever made profits over $100,000. Only 290 wallets out of all the wallets on Pumpfun have made over $1 million. So my entire point, right? Only 0.4% of the wallets have ever made more than 10 grand. My whole point is there are people who make money. Trading is not very different, but in my opinion, trading, and maybe there's a skill to trenching as well. It's very hard. And I tell people this all the time. You're probably better off just buying Bitcoin and living your life and doing whatever you're good at. The idea that you're going to make money, create an edge, put in the time to actually trade profitably is very minuscule. Like the rule of thumb, right? That common kind of thinking for trading is like 90 to 95% of people fail, right? So 90 to 95% people on Pumpfun never make any substantial money, right? Like they're getting annihilated, and a very small percentage of the wallets are making all the money. Is my point. So while you may have had a good outcome, I don't think that that is representative to the masses. And I think just looking at any of Ansem's tweets recently will tell you that these are not rich people in the comments. The people in the comments of these tweets are desperate for money. They are desperate for money. They are begging for airdrops. They want free money. They want free money. And again, I think Ansem's intentions are good, but I just think that the vast majority of people, their experience in crypto is a negative one. It's a negative one. They get annihilated. And so having a famous Instagram crypto content creator, I love the idea, but if they're leading these people to the place where 99% of people lose money, I don't know, man. This is a great tweet. Completely agree. 3,700 comments, bro. The vast majority of these comments are like this. Is it going to be fair? You won't send me any. How do I get the airdrop, right? So anyways. Yeah, monthly close, quarterly close. It's all closed now. And it closed lower. What can we say? Man, I wish I didn't say rape so many times during that diatribe. My bad, guys. Anyways, let's move on. Ansem has already dropped 67 million. Ansem. $9.43 million to 700 wallets. So did it not just say that there's 67,000 holders? And there's been 700 wallets. I mean, listen, I have no idea how this is going to end up. I just think that there's a lot of risk here. Now, these numbers, you got to remember, like, it's $10 million, but you cannot sell and get the money here. Like, there's not $9 million of liquidity available. I don't know what the liquidity is on the token even at all. But the value, the risk you have from a tax perspective, right, is the value is based on the, like, at least in Canada, and I know New York's the same. If I airdrop you something that's valued at 10 million, even though if you sold it, you might only get 500K, you owe tax on the 10 million. So I hope he thought about that as well. But again, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So I think Ansem's intentions are good. He wants to give money away to people. It seems like that's what he's doing. This says that 60% of the airdrop has gone to just 7 wallets. And of those 7 wallets, they've sold the majority of it. Is that bad? Does that seem good? I have no idea. I'm not an on-chain person. But this seems like of the 700 wallets, 9 million was airdropped. 7 million went to just 7 wallets. And those 7 wallets have already realized $5 million of it. So that seems not very equitable. But I mean, how do you even determine who to airdrop? I have no idea. And again, risky business. Our boy Chase here says, nice to see BTC still moving down regardless of Saylors' latest bullshit. If you want BTC at higher prices, you want Strategy's overhead on the asset to be as small as possible. We want them selling and capitulating at low prices. Short-term pain would lead to a brighter future. I agree. I think the less sway and attention that Saylor has and control that he has over Bitcoin, the better. Again, I've said this before. I don't think Saylor blows up. But if he owns less Bitcoin and people stop paying attention to him because he's completely annihilated his credibility by selling Bitcoin, I think that's better. I agree with Chase here. Good take. So Strategy, speaking of Saylor, announces the digital credit capital framework to strengthen digital credit, enhance liquidity, preserve long-term Bitcoin exposure, and support long-term value creation. Here's the TLDR. He's basically saying we now want to be able to sell Bitcoin here, right? Strategy has established a BTC monetization program under which we may sell BTC to juice up the USD reserve, pay the dividends and interest, repurchase the digital credit securities, and MicroStrategy. So this is exactly what I said, right? He's got to buy back some of this STRC stuff. He needs to short reserves. He's going to have to sell Bitcoin to do it. Luckily, none of the debt he has is collateralized by the Bitcoin, so he's able to sell it, which is a good thing. And I think that's what you want. And I think it's poetic that Saylor basically bought all the way up here, and he's going to end up selling near what I believe will be the lows and probably a large sale. If we get another big sell-off, I would not be surprised if him selling a bunch of Bitcoin to shore up the reserves, pay off dividend stuff, ends up creating our bottom, and it's our FTX-like moment. And then hopefully people realize, we don't need to listen to this guy anymore. And what he's effectively done here is created that they're essentially now a hedge fund. They're going to be actively buying and selling the Bitcoin. No longer is it's sell your kidney, sell your house, sell your wife, buy Bitcoin. It's we're going to buy and sell. And so far, he's shown that he is horrible at buying and selling because he's only bought the entire way up for the last 6 years to the point where his average price is about $15,000 higher than where we are now. Imagine starting to buy Bitcoin here and your average price is here. Okay, you started here and your average price is here. Long term, will he be fine? Probably, yes. Again, he can't blow up. He can't get liquidated. It's not how this product works, right? But he is now a fund saying, hey, we're going to buy and sell Bitcoin. We're going to buy and sell MicroStrategy itself, essentially saying he's a hedge fund. And I tweeted this out. I was like, all right, so now you're a hedge fund who sucks at managing capital. Right? So, I think it's kind of hilarious because it's like, not only are you saying you're a hedge fund and you've shown to us that you're horrible at buying Bitcoin, right? Because you buy it at the worst times, at the literal tops, and you have horrible execution. Like the most obvious execution would be Saylor clearly buying, and then immediately after he's done buying, the market nukes below his entry. So I imagine his selling skills are not going to be any better, and he's now operating out of a $14.5 billion hole. Like, you know, it would be an exaggeration that there might be literally 0 people on Earth with the required skill to turn this thing around. Certainly not Saylor. There's basically just a handful of funds on Earth with assets under management above 50 billion. And all of those funds don't already have a negative $14 billion P&L. And they aren't limited to trading only one asset through a bastardized public company with a bunch of convertible notes and preferred shares. If I'm Michael Saylor, I'm doing what I can to survive. I'm doing what I can to survive the rest of the bear market. And then the moment Bitcoin starts being bullish again and gets above his average entry, I'm starting to sell and unwind and just go back to having a Bitcoin reserve with a relatively decent average price, because he does have some buys of size at good price, and then unwinding this clusterfuck. But yeah, if he can turn this around, would be a fucking miracle is the understatement. So will they be margin called? I think this is a free no. There's almost no volume on this market, but my understanding is none of the loans are Bitcoin backed. Am I incorrect in that statement? Someone fact check me there. But I do not believe that any of the loans are Bitcoin backed. Now, some of the debt is convertible, but that's different. Okay? That's different. I don't think that any of the loans are actually Bitcoin backed, but that's something to check on. If this gets more volume, no seems like a free money there on Polymarket. Again, Polymarket, guys, where I do all of my prediction market work, speculating on the World Cup, all of that fun stuff, turning any sort of headline, what's going on with Saylor, what's going on with AI, the price of Bitcoin, etc. I do all of that over on Polymarket. Obviously, as you guys know, sponsors of the show, the homies, trying to get me like Shane Copland, as Drake said. But yeah, if you want to support me in the show, use that Polymarket link, guys. I share it every once in a while. I didn't say that that was good, bro. I said that that seems not good, that only 7 wallets received the majority of the airdrop. I said that I don't think that that's good. But I don't know what he's doing or how he's determining who to give the airdrop to. I have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Is it public? Is it completely at his discretion? Is it random? I genuinely do not know. That's why I would love to talk to him about it. Bitcoin miners reportedly rapidly pivoting to AI data centers amid shrinking profits. I wonder if this, move to AI, like this just to me smells more like, getting closer to a bottom Bitcoin and getting closer to a top AI trade kind of stuff. So what will Bitcoin hit in 2026? I like these, but so do a lot of other people. I think this would be a like really long shot, but it's possible it could be like a very, like, you know, just like a wick. A late bottom would make sense to me because it would be a huge curveball to all of the people expecting an early October bottom to make them lose hope. Like, October is not an early bottom because we topped in October, right? We went December, November, October. It'd be just kind of poetic. And I also think Hagendale, things will be drastically different once we get down there. Like, once we're actually down at those price levels, people aren't going to be talking about October bottom. They're going to be talking about this being the end of the world. So yeah, I like these numbers here. I like maybe 30K for a complete punt. Actually, I would take 35K because it's only slightly worse odds. And I think 35K is just below that 79% retracement. You know, last bear market, we traded just slightly below the 7.9. So 35K, I think, is like a bit of a outlier, but there's decent juice there. 5-1. It's pretty good. I think 50K is almost a certainty. So that's 0.5 R. But I think 50K, I think, is pretty high odds. Nothing is a certainty, but I think pretty high odds we hit 50K. I asked about the U.S. polymarket code. I will follow up. I'm still waiting to hear back. But Cody, we can ping that chat again. Class action lawsuit accuses Magic Eden. I will get you that donkey boat, I promise. Accuses Magic Eden of undelivered ME token promises. The complaint in New York's Eastern District Court named CEO Jack Liu, co-founders, and the company alleging hype through blogs, social media, and events misled buyers on ME as the platform's economic engine. Key letdowns include abandoning the Bitcoin and Ethereum support in Feb 2026, a 9-month delay in governance launch, scaled back staking rewards, and a shuttered wallet. Plaintiffs James Pagan, Ariel Runo, and Chris Sadowski seek damages for overpayment and losses. ME has plunged 99% from the $17 high to 6 cents amid the NFT market cooling. Magic Eden has not responded publicly, with a court conference set for July 31st. Guys, whether or not like they rug pulled their community, this is the future and the fate for all of your meme coins. They're going to go down 99%. Even if they promise to do stuff, they're going down 99%. Okay? Even if they do some stuff, like Magic Eden did do stuff, it's going down 99%. Very few, 1%, right, of these coins actually survive cycle over cycle and are immune to these just kind of roller coaster of doom. So if there's been blatant fraud and, misrepresentations of what the token's going to do, I mean, sure. I also think some responsibility needs to be on the buyer, being like, dude, you're buying a financial instrument, you're buying, a app, as you're buying a coin of, an industry where most of these coins go to zero, most of these tokens do nothing, most of these companies don't make any money. So you as a buyer have to claim some responsibility as well. But this is something that if you're this is why I would never do a creator coin, or shill a token like this, like straight up like this, where it's like, oh, I am shilling fucking ME token, like, and I run Magic Eden. That's why we never did a token with Breakout, because you cannot control the token price. Yeah, you know what I mean? But if there's clear misrepresentations, there's something there. But Magic Eden, 99% down. So are most other coins. That's how it always goes. And yes, you're right, Jake Koff. They can go down 99% and then it can go down 99% again. Go look at any coin from 2017. Like, this is the future of almost every altcoin, guys, and meme coin. All the coins that you hold dear and you think are going to change the world, they all end up this way pretty much, except for a few outliers. Right? This is the norm. Don't be like, well, this coin didn't do that. Yes, there's exceptions to the rule, but exceptions don't make the rule. The vast majority of altcoins, this is their future. So meme coins as well, trench coins, all of them. So keep that in mind. The coin you're in, it might be different. And for your sake, I hope it is an outlier. But this is the norm. X rolls out money service with 6% yield and high FDIC coverage. X has started inviting select US verified users into its new money service, featuring an automatic 6% APY on deposits with no minimums and up to 10 million of FDIC insurance. I mean, this is insane, as well as having cash back of 3%. Super cool. You put it, obviously people are like, hey, just put in $10 million into the account and you have $600K a year to live off of. Anything you save, you can throw back in and grow. This is wild for real. Here's the problem, Vance. You need $10 million fucking dollars, bro. If you have $1 million, that's only $60K to live off of now. Most people don't even have that. If you have $100K, now we're talking $6,000. So yes, bro, like this tweet is the equivalent of, if I had a shit ton of money, it would be so easy to just make more money and live off the interest. Like, no fucking shit. If I only had $10 million, I would just fucking plop it in here and get 6% forever and live off the 600K. Most people don't have fucking 2 pennies to rub together, let alone $10 million that you can just throw in here. Vance, thanks for the tip, Vance. Actually, you know what, Vance? I just read your bio, and you are a bantam and lightweight world champion. I take back everything mean I just said about you. You're actually super smart, and I think you're super smart, and I think you're totally right. 6% of $10 million is 600,000. You are correct. Yes, super smart. Let's make fun of someone else who's not able to fucking beat the shit out of me. I can only assume that this is a marketing stunt and this will not last forever. But hey, this is yield and this is how it works. And if you have a bunch of money, yeah, you can live off the interest. Like, I think UST bills pay 4% right now. UST bills, right? So pretty cool. I'm interested to see what comes with X money. If I had to guess, not a lot of people are getting invited, and this 6% yield is not going to last. But hey, good marketing for sure. Good marketing for sure. And Vance, you are super smart and you're super good at math, and I'm certain that you have many millions of dollars. We kind of talked about Circle already. I mean, okay, guys. The European Union. What is going on? Is there anyone in Europe? Your mummy has $15 million and says it's not enough to retire, which is really fucked with my head. I promise you, $15 million is more than enough to retire, assuming you're not retarded. But your mom thinking it's not enough to retire means that she's retarded, which means that you, as her son, are at least 50% retarded. So, sorry. And, hopefully she leaves it to you in the will. And then you can put it in X money and you can live off $900,000 of interest every year, just like Vance. But yeah, is anyone from Europe here? Like, is the AC thing being blown out of proportion? Or is this just Twitter being Twitter? I've seen some comical tweets about this, like absolutely hilarious. Like literally, like again, I don't know if this is a real account, but like they're being like, hey guys, like, this is we're doing this for climate change. AC is a massive part of global emissions. And, like, do this many people really not have AC in Europe? Now, I only have this anecdotal evidence. I went to France several years ago. I rented this beautiful Airbnb with a view of the Eiffel Tower. It was the middle of summer. It was 40 degrees Celsius, which is like 100 Fahrenheit. And there was no AC. And I messaged the lady on Airbnb being like, we're dying in here. Where's the AC? And she's like, we don't have AC. Turn on a fan and open the window. And if I was old, I would have died for sure. If I was sick, it would have been horrible. We ended up ending our trip early and getting in to a hotel because it was so fucking hot. So is this actually what's really going on in Europe? Like, is there literally not AC in most of these places? And the stuff coming out from like the supervillain Ursula von Weiner or whatever her fucking name is, being like, hey, we're shutting down the AC from floors 1 through 7. But where I am, and I'm telling you, I'm dictating down all the stuff that, hey, you're saving the environment. Think of the kids. Think of the earth. Think of the future. You know, we get AC, but you don't. Private jets, those are green investments, even though jet fuel is one of the most polluting energy resources on earth. The same people telling you that you can't have AC in the middle of summer are flying around on jets going to climate conferences. Like, it's just laughable. Like, the green initiative, the climate change initiative, where there might be some merit to climate change, like, and science behind it and blah, blah, blah. Like, if you can't see that this has been co-opted, primarily used as a political tool just to control you, if you can't see that, you are retarded. It's so obvious that these people come in, Bill Gates on their yachts and their private jets, and fucking look at Bernie Sanders. Oh, Elon's too rich, as he climbs onto a private jet to go to another speaking engagement where he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he has his multiple homes. He has multiple houses in Vermont. He flies private. He shows up to his private jet in a big black Escalade, telling you about the dangers of capitalism while he is literally surviving 60, 70 years in government off the sustenance of capitalism itself. You think Bernie Sanders got rich being in government, making that senatorial, gubernatorial, whatever his salary is? No, it's from capitalism, from taking deals, from speaking engagements, from writing books. Like, it's all such an obvious grift, and the climate change green stuff is such an obvious grift as well. Being like, you know, like Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. He used to complain about millionaires. Now he complains about billionaires. Maybe that's because he's a multimillionaire. Elizabeth Warren, multimillionaire. EU people telling you that you can't have AC because we want to make sure we're saving the children and it's bad for this environment. Fly on private jets to these UN WEF meetings. It's just so fucking funny that people fall for this shit. And then you look at the CO2 emissions chart, and it's just China like this. Like this. Notice how they're not there saying, well, we actually, you want to fucking change CO2 emissions globally? Talk about China. How come you won't do that? You'll never talk about China, right? Even though they are super emitters, like Canada, the UK, France, Germany, you guys could be net zero, net negative. It won't make an iota of difference because China's graph is like fucking this. So the fact that Europers are defending the fact that they don't have AC is comical. You should be able to use all the AC you want because the people telling you not to use AC are flying on private jets, are rich, are enjoying enjoying AC themselves, and are speaking to you from their fucking ivory tower. Like, what a cucked continent. And I say that as someone who is part of the cuck country of Canada, where it's the same thing. I have Mark Carney telling me elbows up against America and Trump, blaming him for the decline of the country over the last 10 years under liberal leadership. Nothing to do with Trump. Biden was the president for half of that time, right? Telling us elbows up, fuck America, while his family lives in America. All of his investments are in America. Like, it's just like these people are grifters of the highest order. Eat the bugs, right? Eat the bugs. Don't own anything. Rent only. You'll never own anything. You're going to eat bugs, and you're going to be in your fucking box that has no AC, just sweltering, dying, okay? While these people are not doing that, okay? They are not doing that. It's rules for thee, never for me. That is politics 101. My entire life, I believed the propaganda that people in Europe and the UK lived better than the US. The adorable World Cup tourists losing their minds at the things Americans consider basics, everyday conveniences, along with the Euro governments intentionally tanking their energy production and actively making life worse for their people, show me how wrong I was. Being born in America is like winning the lottery. I'm forever grateful. God bless America. Yes, the deputy mayor of Paris says that the U.S. bears a significant amount of responsibility for the deadly heat wave gripping France. How? This is the chart I'm talking about. Like, nothing matters when China looks like this. Come on. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Okay, I also like, again, like, we have, I'm not even going to go into that conspiracy theory. I was going to go into my whole climate change rant. I'm not even going to go into it. We're already 2 hours and 30 minutes into the stream. Holy shit. Sorry, Cody. But there's more people, I believe. Now, someone fact check me, but I saw a chart that showed that there's more deaths per capita due to heat in Europe than there is gun deaths in America. Is that actually true, or am I getting psyoped by the internet? Because if that's actually true, L-O fucking L. And I do believe Europe does a lot of things great. The laissez-faire, the joie de vivre, the, what do they say in Spanish? Like, it's like the simple life, like the easy life, that you have in Europe, chilling, drinking your cappuccino. Like, it's very nice. If you got money, Europe's an amazing place to spend the summer because you're on a yacht with AC. You're in a beautiful hotel with AC. If you're broke in Europe, it seems pretty shitty, not to mention that the country is being overrun with illegal immigration, like over fucking run with illegal immigration. And, just your culture and history has been completely wiped away. But that is for a conversation for another day. I'm being psyop, so it's not true. That chart that I saw that I live in La Vida Loca. That's so fucking funny. Okay, so annual deaths per capita by U.S. gun violence, 38 to 44,000. That is 13 to 14 deaths per 100 people. Okay, EU-related heat deaths, anywhere estimated between 25 to 60,000, meaning it's 5 to 14 deaths for 100,000. So not that different, bro. I just looked it up. You're saying I'm being psyoped. I just looked it up, and it says, yes, the heat waves are killing a comparable amount of people per capita than gun violence in the U.S. So how do you like them apples? Verhoofdy Floofin on YouTube. Okay, like, what the fuck are we talking about here? And I think heat death prevention is a lot more reasonable and possible and easy to attain than prevention of gun violence. Gun violence is inculcated into the world of America. There's too many guns. You can't go backwards. And there's gun violence all over the world, even in places where guns are banned. There's mass shooting in Germany like a week ago. 6 people annihilated because of gun violence, right? And there's no guns in Europe. So 90-year-olds croaking because of a heat wave can't be compared to gun deaths. Why not? Are these deaths not preventable? If they had AC, could these people have lived longer? Is that not important? Is that not something that matters? Because Europe was pretty strong behind locking people in their homes and force vaccinating them to save 90-year-olds who would probably die from getting the flu. Do you not see the hypocrisy there, Hagendal? Have to get vaccinated. You're a piece of shit if you don't. You're killing old people if you don't do mandatory social distancing, stay in your home, ruin the economy and your life for years over COVID to save primarily old people, the most likely to die from COVID, 90-year-olds. Now, are you not making the same exact argument in the opposite way, saying, well, a 90-year-old person was old anyways, and the fact that they didn't have AC and they died isn't relevant? I don't know. Seems kind of relevant to me, bro. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. This is what an adult conversation is. He says it's a good argument, but I was against the vaccine shit. So that's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, bro. And I don't think they're one-to-one comp. Obviously, gun death and heat wave vests are not a one-to-one comp, but it is hilarious how much Europeans shit on Americans about guns, and they have an equal amount of people dying because of heat. It's pretty fucking funny. Highest temperature in Paris by July 1. I mean, is this going to get psyoped again by a guy using a hair dryer on the thermostat? Thanks, Trad. Appreciate you, bro. Is there any volume on this market? Not a ton of volume anyways, but like, is it even that hot? Like, how hot was it in Paris? Like, is it that hot that people are dying? Canada's the same way, dude. We have really strict gun laws, but the people that have guns are criminals, primarily. Not average people. Over the last 2 weeks, Paris was 40 degrees, 105. Yeah, that's hot as fuck, bro. And without AC, that is hot as fucking balls. So who do we think, speaking of France, who do we think is going to win the World Cup? I put my two biggest bets on France and Argentina, and they are the favorites right now. And we're up. We're up on our bet here on France. I think $500. No, we're up. Yeah, we're up $500. The value's 1,000. Right? So I've already basically doubled. I've 2x'd here, and the tournament's not over. We're only in the round of 16. So again, you could treat this like a trade. I can look at the chart here, right? And I can just go to France. I bought here, and we're now going parabolic. So I could sell before anything can happen in soccer. I could sell, double my money, in the World Cup's not even over. And this is kind of what I talked about when I placed all those bets early on. Was that, that's one of the beauties of something like Polymarket is you can kind of turn these ideas into a trade and treat it like a trade. I don't need this to actually go to fruition for whether or not I'm going to close this thing. Last but not least here, guys, where's LeBron going next? LeBron is leaving the Lakers, so I'm no longer a Lakers fan. So I'm either going to be cheering for Golden State, Cleveland, or Miami. I think seeing him play in Golden State with Curry would be very cool, especially because they did so well in the Olympics together. And especially if they can pull in one more person. They're talking about bringing Anthony Davis. I don't know, man. He can't stay healthy. That worries me. I was very bummed that Luka got hurt last season. I thought LeBron was on a tear. And if they got past OKC, or if at least Luka was in that series, anything could have happened. So we'll see where he ends up. Obviously, he's getting old. Curry's getting old as well. But it'd be cool to see them play together. They went at it at their peaks, and now they're going to play together. Playing with Giannis would be pretty cool in Miami as well. So I don't know. Should be a fun new NBA season. Anyways, guys, longest stream ever, I think. I'm sorry. Clearly, I was in a mood today. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic next couple of days. I'll talk to you all on Thursday. If you want to support me, best way to do it, guys, click those links in the descriptions, share these videos. I know I'm not promising you guys free money, but if you watch these videos and you pay attention, you watch the Whitebird series, I'm teaching you how to fish. I've done it before. I've taught many a fisherman. The stuff I share with you guys, it's actionable. It's meant to teach you. So when I'm gone, which will happen eventually, you can actually fend for yourself out there. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. Talk to y'all later.